Good afternoon, Duke. How are you, my friend?
I don't want to speak for all of us,
Fair.
and by all of us, I mean the mighty contingent of West Ham fans.
Mm-hmm.
I'm buzzing, mate, buzzing. Phil, it's amazing. It's amazing. I feel
It
great.
is.
Well, I say I feel great as you and me were having discussions
Yeah,
prior
but
to
you
this.
brought that on yourself.
Oh yeah, no. Listen, just absolutely banging and really looking forward to this one. Not gonna lie to you, it's one of them ones that I mean, I could have quite happily done it yesterday. Such was the feeling, but
Yeah.
no, we're here now, so I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't forget, guys, drop a like on the stream, comment on, share the stream, subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the bell icon for new content alerts. And as always, guys, we thank you very much indeed for your support. So, we're here to discuss the Premier League clash at London Stadium yesterday. Match day 15 of 38 in the Premier League. West Ham United 3. Chelsea, the champions of Europe. The reason I keep saying it is because it gives the victory a little bit more gravitas, doesn't it? It gives it a little bit more
Oh,
weight that
without a
we've
doubt,
just
mate.
beaten the team that right now can rightly say we're the best team in Europe, and we've just turned them over.
And did you, I feel anyway. I don't know about the rest of you guys that are watching in the chat or
Budgie,
that were there yesterday. Those of you that were there yesterday, Gatesy, I know I
Stephen.
include you in this.
Yep.
Um, you know, I watched it. I watched it on TV, and I felt it was deserved. I know there are probably going to be some Chelsea fans that may end up coming on and watching this because I've invited a couple over to see if they want to come on and have a watch. Whether or not they feel that that's the case, that's entirely up to them.
Mm.
But I felt it was deserved. I think it was a thoroughly deserved. Let me rephrase that. I think we deserved the win, but I think a fair result would have been a draw. I
Mm.
do feel in our second half performance, a win was deserved.
Mm.
How it come about? Did he
Yeah.
mean it? Didn't he mean it? Listen, we'll discuss that as we go. But at the moment, I'm trying to I'm trying to focus on the positive that was the result
Mm.
and enjoy the next couple of days rather than as Kent has put there.
Mm.
I'm trying not to get caught up in the injury situation at the minute. I just want to
Yes.
enjoy the win, and then I will worry about the injuries and such from tomorrow, because obviously it's going to have a knock on performance.
Mm.
But massive Arkham, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm going to go
Yeah.
large, Gatesy, so you're just going to have to bring the
Yep.
comments up as they come for me, so I don't see them and stop myself mid-flow. As you can tell, my voice is a bit much as well this month. That comes from shouting at the TV and shouting at my teammates this
I was going
morning,
to say this morning,
as we picked up a 9-5 victory, I think
9-5
it was.
in the end.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
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 I got
I'm
I
happy.
got to see most of it. I was there for what? Well, I turned up with about sort of 10, 15 minutes to go with the first half. You was running the line, and then you went on in the second half and saw the team
Um,
home. So
but put in a defensive masterclass, even with my
yeah,
lazy slide tackle that put the guy off as he went to shoot. I'll take it. I don't care. I don't care. I take it. He didn't score. He sliced wide because he thought I was going to clatter him. I didn't. It was all up here. I knew what I was doing.
yeah, he ain't lost it. He ain't lost it. And the funny thing was, I turned up and
Didn't have
discovered
it.
that one of your teammates is an old neighbour of mine, old friend of mine.
Yes.
That was
Yes,
quite nice.
indeed.
But there you go. Right, I'm gonna get the usual no, not that button, Gatesy. For Christ's sakes, that one. There we go. That's the one we want. So that was the starting lineup yesterday, Duke. So he switched it up. He went 3/5 at the back with three centre backs, bringing Diop in alongside Zuma and Dawson. Obviously, Manuel Lanzini, we've all been clamouring for. He came in. Ben Rama and Fornals were the two players that dropped out from the previous match. What were your thoughts when you saw that 11, Duke?
Not going to lie, I was a little bit concerned, Rob, to be honest with you. I was a little bit concerned because I just feel that when we do this, proven not to have been comfortable on a on a basis against when we play this formation, and it bugs me slightly. And I honestly thought it was going to come back and bite us in the arse. Now, that being said, the two fullbacks, wingbacks, call them what you will, when we had possession of the ball, pushed a lot higher up the pitch than I expected them to, especially in the second half. I felt the three at the back, and we'll do something we don't normally do, Jason. We'll do a bit of a ratings towards the end of this because I want to get into that, and I want to start doing that a bit more often. That being said, when I saw that come out, I was watching Hammer's chat as I normally do when these things come up, and slightly concerned. I'm not going to lie to you. I was slightly concerned just for the fact that we were. It felt like we were doing the whole. We'll go 5 at the back, and it shit us up. But the 5 at the back. It felt like for the first half, was it 25 minutes? It worked. We kept them at bay. We did what we had to do. I agree with what Ken put up earlier about it being far too much respect in the first half. I felt we sat a little bit deep in the first half. We invited them onto us a little bit too much. But again, was that part of David Moyes' plan to hit them in the second half? Because a bit like boxer that does a bit of rope-a-dope, back on
Ali,
the road.
Rumble in the Jungle.
Yeah, let them work their self out.
Yeah,
and then we come out second half fighting fit, and we did, and Ken's right. We sat deeper. The two wing backs didn't get as where we wanted them to do. Not as much in the first half. The second half, they came out, but we'll cover that as we do the halves. But when I saw that, I'm pleased to say I was wrong, but I was at the time I was quite nervy that it was going to come back and bite us a little bit.
You must have been pleased to see, as I was, Manuel Lanzini's inclusion, because I think we've been clamouring for it for a couple of games now, and I was quite surprised that he didn't make the Brighton game. And obviously, I've said my piece about his contribution in that game against the player that he essentially replaced in Saeed Benrahma. And so when I heard that it was Lanzini in, I was brilliant, fantastic. Not really sort of like overly concerned who it was for, but I think he needed to be found a way into that starting 11. And for me, I think he had a good game. I'm not going to say that he was the best player on the park. I think there's another player in Claret and Blue that I think deserves that accolade, and we'll obviously get into that. But most of you probably know who that is. But I was pleased nonetheless to see Lanzini get the run out. But if we move on to the Chelsea 11, again, that was the 11. And a noticeable absentee was one Romelu Lukaku. Now, you must have seen that and thought what I thought and thought, well, thank Christ he ain't playing. But, of course, he's on the bench.
Mate, I had my own party when I realised he weren't starting. I won't lie to you. I had my own little party in this room. In fact, I watched it in this room yesterday. And I had my own party when I saw that he weren't starting. And then I realised that, James was starting. And then I realised that people were banging on yesterday about Ziyech. I don't see it. I don't see it.
Really? Okay.
I don't see it. I really don't. Don't get me wrong. The crossfield ball from Mount was absolutely top draw. But he caught it right. Let's not dick around. And it landed at the feet of, Mount. It was a perfect pass, but he caught it right. I mean, he could do that 20, 30 times and probably would only find a half dozen of those that are going to land at his feet like they were. But you say we didn't see Lukaku. I was still slightly concerned with Havertz, but I don't see Havertz as an attacking player. I see Havertz as more, as a striker. I see Havertz more as an attacking midfielder. So I was kind of pleased to see him up front. I'm not going to lie, because he does tend to drop deeper to receive the ball, rather than unlike an out and out striker. So they're back three, if you will, in Christensen and no, Cyber. If you caught the video the other day, I have a new one, but we will cover that a bit later. I saw Christensen in there. I saw Alonso in there, and as we said the other day, mate, I was quite willing to target Alonso. But other than that, what we saw, I mean, and then their bench, it ain't a bad bench either, is it? Let's not fall around.
When you've got a £100 million striker that you can call on, I think you can safely say that ain't a bad bench.
But I mean, listen, when I saw the lineups, I was a little bit worried that Moyes had kind of gone like for like, because that's just what it is. But then on the flip side, listen, it worked, didn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, although I have to say, anybody that's watched the match vlog that I did yesterday of the match will know my. I did swear. I did let out a swear word when Thiago Silva powered that header in after 28 minutes. That was frustrating, because it was like, normally we're the ones that are doing that. Normally we're the ones that are, bullying backlines and all the rest of it. And Thiago Silva, the corner was played in. He gets up. I mean, was it Antonio that was marking him, or supposed to be sort of like detailed to him? And yeah, it just went a bit tits up.
Mate,
didn't it?
I lost my I lost my shit.
You swore as well, did you?
Mate, I went batshit, because I watched the replay and I was like, you know what, with regards to Silva, he's dangerous. He's dangerous in the air when it comes to corners and free kicks. And I just thought that it's a habit. He's good at that, and that's what he's gone and done. Now, what really bugged me was when I watched Antonio do a Harry Kane, and he kind of stood there and watched Silva do what Silva did. He kind of got Silva dropped off him, and Antonio was like, "Shit, where's he gone?" Yeah. And he pops up and bang, it's a good goal that we make. We make look good. That's what we do, in fairness. And I mean, listen, it was a good goal. My concern was how we were going to react, Rob.
Yeah.
How are we going to react to that goal? And
is that going to take the wind out of our sails?
And to be fair, Chelsea. So I'm just trying to rearrange. Chelsea fans who bang on about a certain Italian Ballon d'Or nominee who allegedly is the third best in the world.
Yeah.
He didn't like it up him yesterday. He was bullied. I think he needs to go find himself a little pointy hat and a fishing rod, go sit next to someone's pond, and continue to act like he's fishing, the dwarf, the midget, whatever you want to call him, the gnome, because he's a little man with a big man syndrome, and you saw it. He got bullied. He got flattened, I think. And don't get me wrong, I think it was a free kick. But the way, and then I think Declan Rice decided to drive his knee into the back of his head as he walked past. And unfortunately, he got booked. Now, I say unfortunately, because if I was in his position, I'd be a bit pissed off that I'd got booked. I'd just been kneed in the back of the head. And as far as I'm concerned, the guy should be getting booked. But he was bullied off the park, not just by Rice, but by Souček, by Lanzini. They got up him, and they made him. They made him not think about what he was doing, Gatesy. You know, Jorginho's mind wasn't where it should have been. He was more worried about where challenges were going to come from. He was more worried about whether, you know, the players were going to be right up inside him. And he was being pressed, if I remember rightly. They dicked around at the back with the ball, and he was being pressed. I can't remember who pressed him, and he put the ball back, didn't he, to Mendy, who now the current norm is to have goalkeepers who can play with their feet.
Okay? Yes.
That seems to be the norm.
Yes.
Now, I don't enjoy that. I want my goalkeepers to use their hands. That's all I want to see. Mendy's got to be putting his foot through that, Rob. If I'm a Chelsea fan, or if that happens to us, he has to put his foot through it and get back in red. This dicking around and trying to play didn't do him any favours yesterday, and he's fair play to Bowen. Bowen's gone pressing, as I'm guessing he'd been instructed to.
Absolutely.
And he caused him to panic. He's come back. Bowen dropped, because what I think watching the highlights is he looks like he wants to bring it back through his legs.
Cheers, Nick.
I think he wanted to bring it back through his legs, and what actually happened was, as he's gone to think about that, Bowen's in behind him. He was in behind him.
Yeah.
And he's then thinking, shit, I can't do that. I've got to go forward. Yeah. But by that point, Bowen's already taken 2 steps forward. So he's now literally on his shoulder and ready to step in front of him. The second he knocks that ball forward slightly, Bowen's in. And the only thing he can then do is bring him down, because he's already looking to stretch and slide and clear the ball. So, again, really good really good pressing from the forward players. And, you know, they made the mistake. And I have to say, I had a little bit of a squeaky bum.
Yeah.
When I saw when I saw our Argentinian diamond step up to take it.
Really?
I did a little bit, mate. I did have a little bit of a wobble. I don't know.
Well, who would you have preferred? Put it this way: obviously he scored the goal, so he's placated your worries. But
yes.
Who did you want to see take it?
I mean, part of me wanted to see Deck or Antonio, if I'm honest with you.
Okay.
Just because Happy's happy, you know. But I mean, I didn't see the shenanigans in the build-up, Rob. Did you? I know, obviously, you were there.
Well, no. I mean, I'm quite a distance. I'm quite a distance away, but I heard latterly about Reece James and Manuel Lanzini. Now, here's the thing: I'm not totally clear on what happened and the sequence of events, but I'm told it boils down to Reece James has shouted something out at Manuel Lanzini as he was going to take the penalty. Now,
and I'm sure if it was after the whistle had blown, I think he did it before the referee blew the whistle.
Right.
As he was standing on the edge of the box, the referee's gone to put the whistle to his lips, and Reece James is going, "Ah!" or whatever it was that he did. And then obviously the referee's literally blown at that point, and he's obviously stepped up to take the penalty. So.
Well, then here's my thing. If that was the sequence of events, if that's the referee, you should book Reece James for ungentlemanly conduct. Yes. Am I right?
Yes.
Was he booked?
But that's only, and here's the thing, that's only if the game was in play. The game wasn't in play at that point.
Oh no! Come on, that's wrong. I'm sorry. He's about to step up and take a penalty.
No, sorry, I thought you were talking about in the chat. No.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, mate. Because it was.
That's childish as well.
But then it's the same as Andy Robertson. who in a game, I can't remember who it was against. I think it was last season, and
Right.
Andy Robertson did exactly the same
Did
as
he?
the Liverpool lines had been broken,
Yeah.
and the attacker had got through.
Right.
Robertson's the last man. He comes charging back, and as the player pulls his foot back to shoot, you actually watch it. You can see there's a video online where he goes as he goes to shoot, and the
Really?
guy misses.
Okay.
Yeah. And the guy misses, and Robertson. I know actually the guy scores and turns around and gives the glare to Robertson.
Yeah.
So it happens, and I think because the game wasn't in play, regardless, it doesn't matter. It's the same as when they get up in each other's faces, goalkeepers and attackers. You see it. I
Yeah.
think you saw it with who was the Brazilian goalkeeper that played for AC Milan or Inter Milan?
Dida.
No,
Brazilian goalkeeper played for Milan.
yeah,
Do you mean Inter Milan?
yes,
That was
possibly
was it Julio Cesar?
Cesar,
Played for QPR.
Cesar, and he has a bit of a stand to with Zlatan.
Zlatan, wasn't it? Yeah. Because they were teammates.
Yeah, and they were giving it a load of chat, and again, it just happens, So I don't blame. Listen, if that was West Ham and Lanzini does that, Kai Havertz as he steps up to take the penalty, and it works, and Havertz misses, am I going to be pissed off that he's done it? No, I'm going to be over the moon that he's done it, and well done, sir. So I'm not going to vilify Reece James for it. What I will say is absolutely brilliant from Lanzini because I would have done exactly the same thing. I know that people are probably going to slander or slate, sorry, not slate, slander, slate him. And I know there were some public figures that were doing exactly that. He had no right to go up and do it. He had no reason to go up and do it. And well, listen, he did it. He scored. He has a right to, in my opinion. He's trying to put him off. He's played the
Yeah.
game back. Job done. It
He's
was
got
good
every
to
right
see
to
from
give him a little
Lanzini.
bit back. Jesus
I,
Christ.
I, I listen. It was great to see because it's not something that it's not something that I would have expected to see Lanzini. He's not. He doesn't come across as that type of figure. So it was really nice to see that he's got a bit of a bit of, not a backbone, but he's got a bit of a bit about him that if it comes
Yeah.
to it, he's going to fight the calls kind of thing. And what a good penalty, Rob!
Oh,
What a
wasn't
good
it?
penalty!
So I think he's on penalty detail now, isn't he? Surely.
He's on the pitch always.
Yeah.
It was a great pen, really, really well taken pen.
But a matter of what was it? I don't know, 4 minutes later, I think it was.
It was free
And
from kickoff.
it was. It's the player that got the assist was the player you said earlier you don't rate, but I suppose you could argue even a broken clock is right twice a day. Hakim Ziyech crossed the ball in from left to right. Mason Mount, as it's dropping, I'm watching it and I'm thinking, is he going to take a touch? Is he going to bring it under control? Not a bit of it. It drops out of the air, bang, past Fabianski. Again, I might have let out a swear word as it flew past the big pole. There's some people that are criticizing Fabianski for the goal. I mean, I played in goal. I just think it's sometimes you have to stand up and go, listen, it was fantastic technique from Mount. He caught it absolutely flush. It's flown like a rocket. Fabianski's going from the right-hand side of his goal across to the left. He's not got himself set because he's not got time to get himself set. And before he can react, it's on top of him and heading towards goal. What were your thoughts?
I start by blaming Declan Rice.
Okay.
For a poor pass.
It was it
we
was
were
his
at a
loose
point,
ball.
We were at a point where we were doing really well going forward. We looked like we were beginning to get control of the game, and we were really pushing forward. Now, what I didn't like was we kind of took too long to get the ball into the box, and we kind of dicked around backwards and forwards. I think we held on to possession too much. Now,
Well, this is a point from Wally on that second goal.
that was,
Do
and
you put...
I was about to say, that was literally where I was going to come to. Now, that being said, he was already limping at this point and couldn't get back. It was his man, it was his area of the box to mark. And
Yeah.
because he was limping and he was injured, he couldn't go into a full sprint to get back. And, you know, again, I don't think we did ourselves any favours with Ziyech. We kind of stood off of him and we let him put the ball over. You know, we didn't close him down quick enough. I think it was Sufal was more concerned with the runner that went beyond him. I think it was Alonso. It was Reece James went down behind the behind Ziyech, which then opened up the space there. And then he's obviously seen Mason Mount far side. With regards to Fabianski, I think Fabianski would have thought, as I did, that's coming back across goal. And I think Mason Mount may well have attempted to put it back across goal because I take nothing away from the goal. It was a fantastic finish.
Yep.
But
Agreed.
he's cushion volleyed that with no fucking idea where that ball was going to end up, Rob. He's not directed it inside the near post. He's not put it there deliberately. He's put it at goal. Okay? He's aimed for those. It's somewhere in between those three white metal poles. Okay? And the fact that it's gone down low to Fabianski's near post is just because that's where it ended up. It could have gone across goal. If he'd larruped it and took a big swing, it may well have gone far post. It might well have smacked you straight in the chin. I don't know where you sit. I mean, listen, you don't know. But you could see, saying what Happy just said there, you could actually see how pissed off he was.
Mm.
You could see when that ball hit the back of the net, he kind of turned back upfield, and the camera from behind the Chelsea goal obviously was zoomed in, and it caught him. And you could see he was angry with himself. You could see he was pissed off with himself.
Well, he knew he was going to get phone calls from his best mate later on, sort of saying, "Oh, thanks for setting up my goal, bruv."
But again, as Ken said, Fab didn't have time to set because he took it so
early.
And as you said, he's coming back from
he's
left,
going from right side of the goal to the left.
And
he's taken the strike. Like I say, it's dropped out of the air. He's not controlled it, or he's just dropped out of the air, and he's just gone bang. Whether you think he meant to do it or whatever, I personally think he did. I thought it was great technique.
Finish. It's a great finish. I don't think he meant to go near post, and I stand by that. I think what he was thinking was he's probably going to try and just hit the target. That's what he wants to do there, and that's essentially what you coach from Libby's age, or probably younger than Libby. You know what I mean? So he's hit the target. It doesn't matter where it hits the target. It's gone in. It's a good goal. And I take nothing away from the build-up play. Two really good balls, one to Ziyech to control, Reece James running in beyond him, and then a great ball over to Mount for the finish. Yeah. But all it was,
I knew there was a but.
There was 3 passes. There were 3 passes in it.
Yeah.
It was the winning part. It was the winning tackle. Sorry, yeah. It was. No, there was 2 passes. It was the ball from the pass from the Declan Rice mistake. Then the ball into there was 3. Yeah, no, the ball from the tackle out to Ziyech. Ziyech's long ball over and bang. So it was literally 2 passes, 3-4 touches. But again, we showed a testicular fortitude. We showed a set that got us back into that game again. We didn't lie down. Yeah. You know, it would have been quite easy. Moyes' notes have just been ripped up on 44 minutes. 41 minutes. They've been now torn up and thrown in the fucking bin because his team talk, his half-time team talk is now out the window. But whatever he said at half-time worked. Whatever went on in that changing room was nailed to perfection.
Yeah. Yeah, and I said it on the match vlog when on the wrap up that I did. That is where any manager of any sporting team, be it football, rugby, where you have a halftime interval. That is where the great managers will separate themselves from the rest, because it's what they do at halftime when you're in a match where it's not quite going your way, things aren't going right. What can you do to change the momentum in the second period? And whatever it was that David Moyes did, whether it was tactical tweaks, whether it was just basically giving the players a bit of a rocket, because one player that I'll single out on that front is Michail Antonio. I thought his performance in the first half was anywhere between bang average and poor, if I'm being completely honest. And yet in the second half, it was a complete 180-degree turn. And it was like a switch, it was like a switch had been turned in him, and he was a completely different player in that second half. And he went from being bullied and being dominated to being the bully and the dominator.
Oh, Rob. Oh.
Steady. I know you like domination.
Mm-hmm. Listen, that first half, we didn't play with a striker. That first half, we played with two wide men on the left or on the right.
Yep.
Now, that was Antonio and Lanzini on the left, and it was Antonio and Bowen on the right, because I felt he felt that he wasn't getting any. He wasn't getting much joy through the middle, so he had to keep pulling out wide. Now, the problem with that was the defenders had fuck all to do. Their centre backs had nothing to do really, because every time he pulled out wide, they stood there going, "All right, I'll just wait, shall I? This is great, fantastic." Now, second half, like you said, he must have gone into the changing rooms, and Nolan and Pearson took shit out, son, get. And he came out a different player in that second half. Now, two things happened towards the end of that first half that I think worked in our favour, depending on how you want to look at it.
Yep.
Okay. First one, Havertz going off with the injury and forcing Lukaku to come on at half time.
That's something going in our favour, is it?
It was, mate. In that game, it was, wasn't it? Because he wasn't as mobile as Havertz. So
yeah, and he's still coming back from an injury himself, isn't he?
And the Ben Johnson injury.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why.
Please do.
Masuaku come on and was told, do not fucking come back past that halfway line, right? Do not. You have been told, stay where you fucking are, right? And he didn't. From what I remember, and I'll go back and I'll watch the game again, I don't think he came back and helped defend. I think Rice dropped out, or Souček dropped out, and Lanzini pulled into that gap, which left Mas just stay away, for fuck's sake. I put on Twitter, we've now got a defender who can't defend. And someone commented back to me,
Simon.
it's all right. It's all right because we've also got a striker that can't shoot. Now, afternoon, Simon. How are you, sir?
Don't start. Leave him alone. He's a good lad.
And I'll be honest with you. I felt that Mas coming on gave us a little bit more going forward over on that left. And I just felt that it then gave someone, I think it was Reece James. It gave him something else to think about, because Reece James, where Mas stayed forward, Reece James was thinking, shit, I can't bomb on as much as I need to now, because he's staying forward. And let's be honest, we all know that Mas, King Arthur, call him what you will,
Simon wants you to give it to him, Duke. I'm not quite sure how to take that, Simon.
Oh, Simon. Now, now that being said, it stopped Reece James from coming forward in that second half, I felt anyway. And Antonio staying more central meant that he worked all three centre back. He made them think. And then you had Lanzini, then you had Mas and Lanzini up on the left. And what that did was that then meant that Reece James couldn't come forward because he needed to sit back and work with a Lanzini to get in there. And then on the other side, you had Tuchel pushing on a little bit more. You had Bowen coming in off the wing a little bit more because you had Souček and Rice sitting a little bit deeper. So then when Souček and Rice sat a little bit deeper, it still gave us a 5, but it was more compact. What we had then was 5 attacking players, including Tuchel, Mas, Lanzini, Bowen, and Mickey, and they didn't know what to do, mate. They did not know what to do. The wing backs didn't get forward as ours did because they had to sit back and defend ours, along with their back three and the two their two CDMs in Loftus-Cheek and Jorginho. They couldn't get forward as much, so they didn't have the impact on the game that they would like to. I think they missed N'Golo Kante yesterday. I really do think that they missed N'Golo Kante yesterday. But second half, we came out with a completely different mindset. Yeah. Listen, Simon, I'm going to make a comment here, and I want you to be honest with me, not just based on yesterday's performance. Do you think, you personally, Simon, that Jorginho is a better player than Declan Rice? They play same positions. I just want an honest opinion from a Chelsea fan because I heard so much shit yesterday. I heard so much shit yesterday that Declan Rice isn't fit enough to polish Jorginho's boots, and and I was like, hold the phone a minute. Stop.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you can have the opinion that he's a better player if you want to have that opinion. That's fine, but to
I
put
don't,
it
mate,
in
I don't
such
even think he holds a candle to Declan Rice right now. I really don't. I really don't, and I've said it many times that I think Declan Rice is the best player in his position at his age in the world.
Yeah, I mean, Jorginho's a bit older, in fairness, isn't he? It's he's got more experience. It's fair to say.
What, of cocking up?
Now.
Declan Rice, man of the match player on the pitch during the European Championship final until he was taken off, and then look what happens. We fell apart.
Well, did you see that quote from that was attributed to Gianfranco Zola that's come out? Hang on, I've got it on me. I've got it on my phone.
I love Franco. I'm not going to lie to you.
I'll just get it on my phone. I got this on a WhatsApp message a little bit earlier, and I was blissfully unaware of it. Here it is. This was Zola in an interview with BT Sport. And Zola's quoted, he laughs sheepishly and says, "Look, this summer I was talking to Salvatore Sirigu, who was the Italian national team's second goalkeeper for the Euros. He was on the bench and said to me, because we had a chat about the final, we couldn't believe when he, meaning Rice, came off because we thought he was the best player they had. Immediately, if we thought that he was injured or a problem like that, they were very pleased when he came off," quotes unquotes.
Now, Happy's put a message in.
That one.
Asking a question.
Hang on.
I'm gonna answer that one because I haven't seen it.
When he's up with Kante or Kovacic, but
yeah, that's what I said. I believe you missed. I believe you missed Kante yesterday. Well, not right now because I'm not good enough for it.
Sure, we can.
But you said there. Yeah, you can. You asked her a question about the stat for 53 games. I think that's the first time in 75 games that Tuchel has been in charge that they've conceded 3. And I think it's the first time in 53 games that they've conceded more than 1. Now, I think Simon, you've just put there. You can see Chelsea bidding for Rice this summer. I can see you bidding for him. I don't think anyone's going to come close to what we're going to want for him. I think people will come in for him, but unless someone is willing to drop 150 mil on the table, I don't think he's going to go anywhere because he's worth that right now. He's worth that. If you're coming back if you guys are coming for 100 million back in August, I think he would have gone. But right now, I think Declan Rice is happy, and I think you're going to have to drop about 150 mil on the table to be able to get him and walk out the door. But back to second half, they came out a different team, Gatesy.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I personally think
third time under Tuchel.
There you go,
they've
third time.
Three.
Yeah.
All 3 games,
So,
Kante hasn't played.
Now, we came out with a new game plan second half. He's worth double that, but I reckon it'll take 150 million to take him out of the club. We came out with a separate game plan, and like I say, we pushed forward. The guys, they started to bully. Antonio started to give Christensen and Silva some thoughts about what he was going to do. And then at the other end of the pitch, Lukaku looked so unbelievably immobile that it was simple for our 3 centre-backs to turn around and go, you do you, son. You ain't going to get nothing out of it. He looked so he looked so lethargic and cumbersome, like he was just lumbering everywhere, Rob. It was painful. I tell you what, when we got the second goal, I had a feeling we were going to go on and win. All right, I really did. Again, some good football. Was it Soufal with I think it was this.
It's got to be
this because it's a derby.
I think because it's a derby and because Chelsea are the champions of Europe and Liverpool, when we beat them, weren't champions of anything. That's not me being funny to Liverpool. That's just a fact. I think this trumps it. I really do.
Yeah, it does because it's a derby.
And it's a comeback win, wasn't it? I don't think because we weren't behind against Liverpool at any point, were we? Whereas we were behind twice against Chelsea and come back to win.
Yeah. I think it was a 1-2 with Antonio and Soufal, if I remember rightly, for the second. I think Antonio played it into Soufal.
It was a header from Soufal, or Antonio was challenging for a header, wasn't it?
Who pinged the ball forward to Antonio? Was that might have been Tuchel, Rice, or Dawson?
Right.
It was one of the 3. He played the ball back to them and then got on his bike and went. And then
put it this way: it's down here as the assist goes to Vladimir Koufal. Yeah,
no, it was because whoever it was that they dinked the ball into Antonio. Antonio went up, I think, with Silva. Silva won the header. It went out to Soufal. Soufal then battled with Silva, I think, and possibly Christensen.
Yeah.
Ball came through, I think. Soufal played it through Christensen's leg onto the left foot of Bowen, and he let rip. He let rip. It was a thunderstruck shot. It really was. He absolutely levered it. And I've watched a certain angle at a goal, and it was there was very little movement on the ball, and by that I mean the ball wasn't turning, spinning. It was the way the ball was struck. The ball was dead still as it went through the air and beyond Mendy. And I saw some comments yesterday that as Peliqueta would have got a hand to that, he would have saved both the penalty.
Ariza Balaga.
No, actually, yeah. What did I say?
You said as Peliqueta. I'm going to say.
Yeah, Dave.
Would have been a penalty then.
Dave, he's but yeah, Kepa, that's his name.
Yeah, Kepa.
They were saying that he would have saved it. He would have got down. Listen, no one's saving Bowen. No one's saving the second goal. No one, because it was hit so quickly. Again, like Kent said earlier, it he wasn't able to get himself set. He wasn't able to get himself set, and therefore the ball came from behind. I think it was from behind Silva and into the back of the net. But it's listen, it was a great goal, great team goal, good build up, and not what we didn't deserve. We deserved that second goal at the time the second goal came. We really did deserve it, and I honestly, hands up, thought we were going to go on and win it at that point.
Can I just jump in on this point real quick? Because I'm gonna slightly expand on this. It's better than that because we've beaten so far this season every one of last season's top 12 finishers in the Premier League. Obviously, we with the exception of us, because we can't beat ourselves. Well, actually, we can. With the exception of Arsenal. The only team we haven't beaten that was in last season's Premier League top 12 is Arsenal, and the reason is because we haven't played them. Every other team we've beat. And
that will come. I'm telling you now, right? Who did Arsenal play? Who did they play midweek? What did they play? Chelsea? Oh. Who did they play midweek?
Not sure. Not sure. I couldn't care less, to be quite honest.
I think they're playing Everton tomorrow.
Okay.
Sorry, Happy. I think they're playing. I think Happy that my comment went over Gates's head. I think he missed that one. Happy, am I allowed to repeat it?
My wife's coming in and out with shopping. My dog's scooting around. Well, she's on the ponce.
You turned around and said we can't beat ourselves. I went, well, we can because I beat myself quite often.
Oh, for Christ's sake!
Listen, that was your own fault.
Filthy beast.
The friend of the channel is in. The friend of the channel is in. Listen, that was Chelsea played Watford the other day, and you guys looked really, really poor. I felt against Watford. Honestly, I thought Chelsea were poor against Watford, and that was part of. I made what? No, stop, don't, Dad. Sorry, carry on, Rob. We were discussing the second goal.
Second goal, yeah. So Jared Bowen gets it. I thought it was a brilliant strike myself. I mean, let's say I was there. I was right by the goal, obviously up in the gods. You know where I sit. Gets it on his left peg, bang, past Mendy. I don't think he's. I don't think Kepa was getting that. I think you could have had Mendy and Kepa in goal and they wouldn't have got it.
No, great finish. And we'll do the player ratings in a bit. But I felt that Bowen yesterday was amazing. That wasn't just for him going forward.
Yeah,
that was.
I thought he worked damned hard. Well. I thought he worked really hard, but I was on the as you were the player ratings that Hammers Chat did just before we did this, and I've given him my man of the match, not a problem.
Yeah,
but I marked him as a 9. I think Gonzo gave him a 10 if I remember correctly. I gave him a 9 because although he scored a goal and he worked hard and did well, he could have had at least another, possibly 2 other goals if he'd have really had his shooting boots on. Now, I know that probably might seem like quite a harsh criticism, especially in a game that we won. But on another day, it might be that he scores a goal, plays like that, and we lose the game 2-1. And that's the difference between us, winning, drawing, losing, whatever.
Well, it was a comment that was put on Twitter twice.
Oh, no. I know he said that he heard a pop in his knee, and as soon as you hear that, you think, and I'm sort of I'm hoping for the best, expecting the worst, but I turned around on a group chat that I'm on and said I wouldn't be shocked if Angelo Ogbonna's got a bit of company for the rest of the season.
Yeah. It's a worry. It's a worry. Now, I thought he was making a different comment there. I've got to say, once the second one went in, and knowing how cumbersome, knowing how unmotivated to move Lukaku was,
Yeah.
that it was pretty much a nailed-on thing that a point would be the minimum we would get. For me, Lukaku, he didn't look like his usual self. I think he also looks a little bit bigger than other times that I've seen him. And,
Pies.
I think
and lots of pies.
Yeah, but you know what? We said the same thing about Antonio, mate, didn't we? When Antonio whacked on the muscle, and he lost his pace. And I felt the same with with Lukaku yesterday, and he didn't look mobile enough for me.
Yeah.
And it was at that point that I think Chelsea were considering lumping balls into him because there was nothing else that we could that they could get out of us, if you will. Now, from what I'm hearing, did she not just leave? She's come back already. What's she lost? Ask her what she's lost, Rob.
She's just come back from visiting her mum, and she's been to Costco over in Thurrock.
Now,
so there's a shitload of food that's about to come in through the door.
He's injured. Okay. Yeah. Zuma looks like it could be a little bit long term. Ben Johnson looks like he could be out for a couple of weeks. Now, the good thing is we're in a position where come Thursday, we have a Europa League game. That means Jack Digley's squad.
Yep.
So now, I don't care, and I said this, I said that I didn't want to see him just put out 11 kids, and if they get smashed, that's their own fault, crack on. I don't want to see that. But now I am at a bit of a point where we really do need to consider that our back four in that game, if you will, is probably Baptiste and Alese, and probably Ashby and King Arthur.
Right.
Just because we're going to need Diop and Dawson for Sunday.
True. Yeah, agreed.
You know, I'd play Noble and Crowell just because we're going to need WHUCHE and Rice for Sunday. You know, we can't now. We can't risk any more of these big player injuries.
Well, Crowell can play centre back as well. People forget that.
Well, so can Rice.
But I think he's too important in central mid to move him out of there. Yeah, I know he can. So can Thomas Souček.
In certain games.
Crowell's not getting a kick. Why not?
Well, then you can drop Rice and put Crowell in. Because I'd rather see Declan Rice at centre back than Alex Crowell right now.
Okay.
Personally, and at points in the last probably 10 minutes yesterday, Declan Rice did drop in and create the third centre back. So yeah, we're in a situation now where you go back 2 months, we were all banging on about what if Antonio gets injured? We got nothing up front. I brought up the scenario of shit. What happens if we lose Declan Rice? Because for me, losing Declan Rice is bigger long term than losing Antonio.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
But now I'm in a situation where losing Zuma is a bigger blow than losing Antonio at this point. And that's only because Antonio's been shit for the last X amount of games. He was all right yesterday. We threw himself about, but that was only second half. First half, he was dog shit.
Yeah.
Now we're in a situation where, you know, we've got Spurs coming up. We've got we've got Arsenal coming up. We need to now start looking at what we're going to do. I'm kind of hoping that, you know what, Happy, we didn't, because at one point we had 4 and we weren't worried about it. And then we lost one and now we're like, oh, we've only got 3, and now we've lost another one and we're like, shit.
Yes.
You know, so, but that being said, we've only got 3 weeks. We've only got 3 weeks. If Zuma is out long term, can we make do with the other 2 boys for the next 3 weeks? Yes, of course we can.
Yeah.
Of course we can.
Yeah, I think
And
we
with
could.
the youngsters on the bench who look good, then they're there as if we have to. Now, that being said, we get into January, and you and I, Gatesy, had a discussion a few weeks ago about players that we were linked with and players that are out of contract in the summer. And I
Yep.
mentioned the German centre back. You were talking about Nicholas Stark,
Nicholas
weren't
Stark,
you?
yes.
And I mentioned, and I'm going to get up because I want to go get my book, because in my book is my list.
Is this your book of knowledge?
No, it's not knowledge. It's just. I had Matthias Ginter.
That was
I
it.
had on my list.
Where was he from? Was it Mönchengladbach or?
Mönchengladbach. Now that being said, you know, he's out of contract in the summer.
Yep.
Can we pinch him for a few bob?
And that's a World Cup winner, isn't it?
Yeah. Can we pinch him for a few bob? Maybe 9-10 million if he ain't going to sign a new contract.
And is he 27?
Yeah.
Crazy, isn't it?
If we can get him in, if he doesn't look like he's going to sign a new contract, then I will look after this because I'm going to go through a little bit. Dennis Zakaria, I mentioned him. He's also at Mönchengladbach, Swiss CDM. Again, would be great, but we're kind of coming off of the subject of what was yesterday. I know that's what we're here for. So this chair don't need more noise.
Yeah, but it kind of weaves into that because obviously it's the loss of Zuma. It's like I just got Diop's name in front of me. That's why I misspoke. Forgive me.
So, grand scheme of things, I
thank you, Happy.
Lovely. Now, do you want to do the third goal? Or
well, now so yeah, I got to be honest. I mean, yeah, I was the same as everybody else. Arthur Masuaku comes wandering onto the pitch. He came on as a sort of late substitute. I'm thinking, I say a late substitute. He obviously came on for Ben Johnson. And I'm thinking, please don't.
Do me a poll. Do me a poll.
Right.
In the chat. Set up a proper poll.
I've done it. I've done one already, but it was the Rice versus Jorginho.
Yeah, no, I've seen that. I've already answered that. You got 15 votes.
Okay.
We call it a day. I want another one.
Can you set another one up?
I don't know. Find out.
All right. Hang on a minute. Hang on.
I think you've had two goals.
What do you want me to do?
Did Mass mean it?
No, it won't let me. It won't let me.
All right. In the chat, shot or cross.
Well, he's already come out and said that he didn't mean it.
No,
he said he was surprised. He said he was surprised as anyone else.
Right. Now that doesn't mean that he's saying it's a cross.
Yes, but I think we're talking semantics there.
He's surprised that it went in.
No, I think
it's a shot.
No,
I think it's a shot, and I'll tell you why I think it's a shot.
Go on.
He hits it too straight, Rob. No one can.
Maybe he didn't mean it. A bit like what you said about Mason Mount.
Mate, you can't fuck up a cross that badly. Okay, he's hit that near post. Now, if he's trying to cross that, I want to get hold of him and wring his fucking neck because it's an awful cross. Right?
Oh, I couldn't care less whether he meant to cross or shoot. He ended up in the back of the net. 3 minutes left of a London derby. Who cares?
Listen. Mendy doesn't cover himself in glory again.
Oh, he left the gate open massively, didn't he?
In defence of Mendy, what his thinking is, I'm going to come early. I'm going to claim the cross, and I'm going to set us on a break quick. And that's what Mendy's thinking. I'm going to come out, claim it, and get the ball up the pitch as quick as I can because we need to be on the front foot and try and get the winner. So if he's coming out and if everything goes to plan, he comes out, he claims the ball, bosh, out it goes. He puts Chelsea on a break. Yeah. So if he's thinking cross, Masuaku's gone. Nah, you're all right. Watch this. And I think he's tucked that. I think he's tucked him right up, mate. But I also think Mendy needs to be doing so much better at getting that away from goal.
And he's a keeper that since he's come in, I thought he's looked really good.
Oh, I think he's a great keeper.
But
I think he's a
I think yesterday
keeper.
he just exactly the next comment. He turned into the guy that he's essentially replaced because Kepa was a bit. He became a figure. I know, sort of like Chelsea fans that just basically said there were shots that were straight at him. He was doing a Roberto. It was shots that were straight at him and were getting past him. And you're like, how the hell has that happened? Which is why they've gone and brought Mendy in. And obviously they won the European Cup with him in between the sticks. So the proof in the pudding's in the eating, I guess. But yesterday he looked awful. I don't know what was going on. I don't know whether sort of someone had, sort of done something with his halftime cup of tea or something. I don't know. Really weird.
I mean, listen, we do have history of dicking around with people's lasagnas, don't we? So a cup of tea, I don't think it's beyond us.
Allegedly, it was never proven.
It was never proven we didn't.
If you make an accusation in law, if you make the accusation, it's incumbent upon you to prove it. It's not incumbent upon the person that's defending themselves to prove they didn't.
It wasn't proven either way, was it? I realise how grey I'm going. Jesus, look at this. Mr. Fantastic.
At first, I thought he did mean it. I'll be honest. At first, I thought the way he shaped up, I thought he's meant that. But like I say, and I can understand you might want to read it, possibly that he's not saying he didn't mean it, but he sort of said hint. I was as surprised as anyone, so it kind of makes me think, well, he wasn't trying to sort of do what he did. Just the way I'm reading it. But exactly that. Couldn't care less. Ended up in the back of the net. Won us the game. And, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, look at that. Now, if
my only concern.
Oh, don't piss on my chips, for Christ's sakes.
My only concern.
Oh,
my only concern,
aren't you?
Is the shitbags from North London today won one of their 2 games in hand and put them on 25 points.
Oh.
If they win their other game in hand, those fuckers go back above us and we have to beat them again to put them back below us. I'm just saying. But right now we're full.
Can't you just enjoy it?
I am enjoying it, and trust me, I started drinking at the start of the game yesterday and finished drinking at about 11 last night because I was enjoying yesterday.
And I don't know if you guys have seen it. I've done a couple of polls that I did yesterday, and I'm fairly sure that it was conclusive that West Ham are still massive.
Yeah, I think.
Did you vote? Did you vote yes, or did you vote yes?
Yeah, I voted yes.
You voted yes?
Yeah.
Were you tempted to vote yes, though?
I was tempted to vote the second yes, but the second yes only got like 20% of the votes. The first yes got 80. I don't know what was going on there. Okay. The WHO are worried of a second pandemic hitting the shores of the UK by the end of Christmas.
Great.
Because they're beginning to think that everyone's going to understand just how fucking massive West Ham are after the new year. So they're worried that after Christmas there's going to be another pandemic, and that pandemic is West Ham staying there until the end of the season. I'm just saying.
Fair enough. Do you want some nuggets?
Give me nuggets, because there's no bad nugget in this, is there? There can't
be
one.
And I've saved the best one till last, because I know you like me to save the best one till last. So in their 53rd match under Thomas Tuchel in all competitions, Chelsea shipped more than 1 goal for only the 3rd time, also doing so against West Brom in April when they lost 5-2, and Aston Villa in May when they lost 2-1. Not bad.
Listen, I rate Thomas Tuchel. I do. Where you gone? He's left me. I hate it when he does this. Oh, hi.
It's all right. She's trying to get my attention off camera, so I'm like, and it was something of vital importance that required my attention. She heard me say nuggets, and she's going through the shopping, and she's shown me a bag of nuggets.
Tell her she's not funny. Right?
You're not funny.
We're in the middle of an important.
We're in the middle of an important. Listen, he's giving you a bollocking. Don't let it happen again, right? Otherwise, I'll have to lock you in the cellar. and feed you on bread and dripping.
It puts the
Let this
lotion
be a
on
lesson to you. She's just pointed out we haven't got a cellar, so it
Yeah, but
might
I
be a
ain't
little
lying
bit
to you, mate.
difficult.
I don't fancy your chances. I have a feeling they'll end up you in the cellar. But
Yeah.
that being said, listen, when Tuchel left Dortmund,
Yep. Before he went to
I was a big
PSG.
advocate. Listen, before he went PSG, I fucking wanted Tuchel. I am a big Thomas Tuchel fan. I really am, and I think he worked wonders at Dortmund. You know, there's all this talk, isn't there, of Ranić at United. He's like the godfather of Klopp and
Klopp,
Tuchel,
yeah.
because you know Tuchel.
And
Tuchel
who was the other one?
There was a third, wasn't there?
The fella at Southampton. What's his face?
Lagerbeck or whatever his fucking.
Yeah, I can't remember his
Jimmy
bloody
Floyd.
name.
I don't know.
What's his bloody name? Ralph Hasenhüttl. That was it.
Hasenhüttl. They're all
his disciples.
Yeah.
I'm always on thin ice.
It's true. It's true. I wanted Tuchel, whatever you want to call it. I wanted him, TT. I wanted him at West Ham before Pellegrini, I think it was. So
Okay.
I think he left there before all of that. And I wanted him ahead of Pellegrini because I think he's an outstanding manager. And when he went to Chelsea, I was like, because I'm telling you now, he will do more there than Conte would at Spurs.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's already won the European Cup, hasn't he?
Yeah, no, I mean long term. Long term, he will do so much more at Chelsea than Conte will. I think Conte is really going to struggle at Spurs. I really think that he's kind of going bollocks. I should have waited for the United job.
Yeah. The only thing I'd say is that Conte doesn't have a track record of staying anywhere for longer. In the same way Mourinho doesn't. Probably about three seasons if you're lucky. Whereas Thomas Tuchel is at a club that, with all due respect to Thomas Tuchel, he'll be very lucky if he's still there in a year or two, because that's just Chelsea. You know, they have a high turnover of managers. I mean, you'll get a manager like Jose Mourinho walks in, wins them the Premier League. 4 months later, he's out the door.
Yeah.
Roberto Di Matteo wins them the Champions League in 2012. A couple of months later, he's gone. So just because Thomas Tuchel has won them the Champions League doesn't mean to say he's immune from getting the bullet. He will go at some point.
I think they'll be fucking stupid if they get rid of him. No, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, but then, like I say, they've got rid of Mourinho, they've got rid of Ancelotti, they've got rid of Conte. Yeah. So I'm not being funny. If you're going to get rid of managers of that caliber, with all due respect to Thomas Tuchel, he's not going to be immune to it. Yeah. So Anyway, next nugget.
Go.
This was Chelsea's first Premier League defeat after leading at half-time since December 2018 against Wolves under Maurizio Sarri. Remember him? They had been unbeaten in 48 league games when ahead at half-time before today, winning 40 and drawing 8. Now, so we've really bucked the trend there, haven't we?
I mean, if you were going to have a bet on a team bucking the trend, it would have been us. Let's not mess around.
But this was what I said, wasn't it?
We are up for these games, aren't we?
We lost against Wolves. Yeah, fine. We stunk the place out there. We lost against City at their place, which was probably not, in all honesty, unexpected. You kind of go with it. The display against Brighton wasn't the best. Got a point. And I turned around to people and said, it would be such a West Ham thing for us to go and beat the champions of Europe. And people laughed.
Oh, mate,
they ain't laughing now.
Yeah. Massively, mate, because it's what we do, isn't it? Yeah, it's what we do. Happy, why?
I remember, well, she's saying about Man United. I remember two distinct seasons. One season, which was 95, when Blackburn won the title. We were sort of like a mid-table team, and we drew with Man United, stopped them winning the league. That's just what we do. A couple of years earlier, we beat Man United. Kenny Brown 1-0. Remember that? And not only did we stop just to sort of show Ludo was in goal for both games, but just to show you that how stupid it was. We stopped Man United from winning the Premier or the league title, because it was before the Premier League, actually. It was the season before the Premier League came in. And we got relegated.
Yeah. We got relegated
That's
from
what we
Division
do.
1. We got relegated from Division 1 down to Division 1. Do you remember?
Yeah. Crazy. It's such a West Ham thing. It's only us that can do crap like that. So, and yes, that's is that the stat you're talking about, Happy? I'm not sure. But there you go. She has 50 quid and is finishing up the Spuds. Ooh. Interesting. Now here's a question for you, Duke. Just before I go on to the third and final nugget, what Happy's put there about 50 quid finishing above the Spuds? Beating the Spuds in the quarterfinal and going on to win the League Cup, and finishing below them in the league, whether it's by a place or whatever, or would you take I know they're not mutually exclusive, just a bit of fun. Or would you take losing to them in the quarterfinal if we finished above them in the league?
Can I add a caveat to that?
No. Not allowed.
Okay, winning the League Cup.
Winning the League Cup and finishing a place below them, as opposed to...
My caveat to that would have been, do we win the Europa League? Because if we don't win the Europa League, then, and we finish, say Spurs finish 6th and we finish 7th, then our way into Europe is going to be winning the League Cup and going into the conference next season. Whereas if we win the Europa League, we finish in Champions League place. We get a Champions League
Champions League spot.
So
yeah, that's true.
Now, I mean, listen, if we're not going to finish in the European places this year, and you greedy moobag,
you are greedy. You are greedy.
I'd want to.
You're the one at the Christmas dinner, aren't you, Happy? You're the one at the Christmas dinner when there's other people around the table that haven't finished their dinner. You're the one that's turning around and going, "Are you going to finish that?"
That's me. I'm not going to lie. No, I'd like to say I'd love to end our trophy drought, mate. So if it means finishing 7th and winning a cup, I'd love to see us win a cup. I would. There's no two ways about it. And you can say, finish 4th, get Champions League. How amazing would that be? That'd be amazing. But we still ain't won fuck all. And I want to see us win something. So for me, winning the League Cup
at Wembley would be nice.
Yeah, well, we had a couple. We've had one of them and won the playoff league trophy. And we obviously lost the FA Cup final.
Yeah, that wasn't. Yeah, I was going to say it was at Cardiff. I want a Wembley final, and I want a domestic cup. So whether it's League Cup or FA Cup, I couldn't.
Mate, I'd take the League Cup this season.
I'm not going to turn my nose up at the League Cup. I know a lot of people do, but I'm not being funny. You look at sort of like Man City. They'd won 4 on the bounce, and this is a team that competes in the Premier League sort of like title race pretty much every season since Pep's turned up, certainly. And before that, even Pellegrini, Mancini, they're all, and yet this is a trophy that they've taken mega seriously. Even Jose Mourinho, when he was at Chelsea, he'd always sort of like set his stall out to sort of like, that was his first trophy that he ever won as well. It was the League Cup. So yeah. Oh, hang on. She's come back. She's confirming she's the one at the Christmas table sitting closest to. All right. Yeah. I probably should have. Should have thought about that.
Happy, where are you? Because we need to go out having a drink. I think we need to do a Forge for Mine get together.
She's over the other side of the water, isn't she? I think she's.
Yeah, we might have to go up into London and have a piss up, Gatesy.
Yeah.
Maybe after Christmas, maybe a New Year Forge for Mine Beaner.
I'll tell you what we could do. We could go, because I never got the chance to go to that pub in Stratford, the Greyhound. Maybe we could go there.
Maybe we could go to the Lewisham Tavern. I'm just saying.
Could do. Maybe we could do both. A little bit of Forge for Mine pub crawl.
£2.40. £2.40 a pint of Carlsberg.
Now, for the people that are wondering, what's this about the Lewisham Tavern? Because you obviously had Cyber in the chat who seemed to be oblivious to it. Do you want to tell people what that's all about?
I will. I'm going to go.
I'll tell you what. Before you do, shall I get the third and final nugget out of the way?
Get the nugget out of the way.
Let's get this one out of the way. So we have won 4 of our last 7 home Premier League matches against Chelsea, drawing 1 and losing 2, after having just one of our previous 9 on home soil against the Blues when we drew 1 and lost 7. That's a good one, isn't it, mate? Come on.
Now that just shows you that we're turning and competing, Gatesy. That shows
we're massive.
We need to bring this. We need to bring that into our away form as well, and start, sort out these not winning away from home at Anfield for like 20 years or something stupid like that. 700 games and not won one at Anfield and all this shit. That needs to stop. But it also we have to break these ducks at home, and we've beaten United, we've beaten City, so we're capable of them, aren't we? You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, definitely. Yeah. Right, where are you going with this, Duke? Oh, hang on, sorry, I've just pressed a button. Sorry.
So, ladies and gentlemen, in the wonderful people in the chat, this is my new pub. I hopefully take over this lovely place as of either next week or the week after.
When you say hopefully, you'll definitely be taking over.
I'm definitely, I'm definitely taking it over. I'm just hoping it's within the next, week to 10 days. Hopefully it might be earlier. But this is my new pub. So I've also got let's all show a picture. That one there. The sad thing is,
needs a bit more claret and blue there, doesn't it?
Well, as I was about to say, it is in the middle of enemy territory. I'm unfortunately happy I'm not allowed, as much as I'd love to. It's obviously in Lewisham, which is obviously in the middle of enemy territory. It's just a boozer. It doesn't do anything else other than serve drinks. I could do it with my eyes shut, I believe. Do it on my own. But yeah, hopefully I'm definitely taking it over, and hopefully I'll be in within the next week to 10 days after a little bit of training. It's 7 minutes away from Lewisham train station on the corner, so it's easy. I think it's 20 minutes. No. 18 minutes from London Bridge and 22 minutes away from Charing Cross. So it's fairly central. It's a lovely boozer. I drove past it yesterday evening, and it had about 15 people in it on a Friday night at 9:30. So a bit of work to be done by getting people in. Very big sports contingent, 6 TVs, 2 skyboxes, so we were able to get that on. They love their football in there, so yeah, that's where we're going to end up, Rob. So
nice,
yeah, big changes for me coming up over the next couple of weeks. So I'm really looking forward.
As I say, the only shame from my point of view is that this isn't exactly in walking distance from my gaff. I'm going to have to jump on a train.
I am sorry on a train. But you know what? It's as I said to you before, mate. It's a big step for me because it's a step into the unknown with certain aspects of the business being slightly different to what I'm used to. But again, teaching old dogs new tricks, innit? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you'll be fine.
I've done this 7 years now. I've got the backing of my family with this move. I've got the backing with my friends, like yourself. My old team here at the Ball. I've got their full backing with the move, and it fits more into a niche of me. That, like I say, there's no food. It's just a boozer. Yeah. So I'm going in with the opportunity of being able to
serve crisps and nuts and pork scratching, surely.
Well, if they don't, they fucking will be. Good thing is, Rob, as you know, because you've driven past it a few times.
Many times.
Just out of shot on the right-hand side of that picture. So going off down to the right of this picture, there is a Nando's just off of the edge of that shot. which is about 100 yards up the road.
Yep.
So again, I might put something in place. Thank you, Happy, much appreciated. You'll have to come over. We'll have to just have a night out in the pub.
Yeah.
I'll get people working for me, and we'll get on it. I have to say, I did receive
She's
a
not
text
keen on
message.
it.
She's not a Nando's lover.
She's not.
I
To be
did have
honest,
a text message from one of their patrons yesterday who is a Chelsea fan.
Yeah.
He did drop me a text message and say, congratulations, mate, well done. I do think it was a very lucky goal. And I did say to him, to be honest with you, mate, I can go as far to say as I thought a draw would have been a fair result. But that being said, we won, so stuff it.
Now, pie and mash. Now, the nearest pie
I'm
and
not
mash
sure
to
your
one, let's think.
Tiki Nando's after 10 pints, says Trev. Hang on,
Probably the closest one that I can think of off the top of my head is Manzi's in Deptford.
That ain't too far.
You've also got Goddard's in Greenwich. What other ones are close by?
I might be able to get something delivered, Rob. I'll put something in place and we might be able to get something.
Well, I know
delivered.
that the Armants on just off the Walworth Road, they do a satellite service, if you will, because there's a place in. Do you know? Obviously, you know Dartford, so you know St Vincent's.
Yeah.
You go down there. You got Sally Sue Sandwich Bar.
Oh, I love Sally Sue's.
Yeah. Well, they get the pie and mash from Armants delivered to them.
Oh, no, really? Well,
so might be worth having a word with them, because I think they'd probably deliver it to your pub.
Again, not my cup of tea, but if people want them,
jelly deals.
Yeah, not my cup of tea.
I tried it once, wasn't too keen, but I tell you what, stew deals ain't bad.
Tell you what, I shouldn't do that. I end up with about 5 chins.
Stew deals, not too bad.
Nah.
Really? Do you like fish?
Nah. Fish fingers.
That's your lot.
That's about it.
Okay, there you go. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up shortly. Duke, final thoughts?
Yeah. I was spinning. Sorry, I was excited. Thanks,
You're
Steve.
always excited.
Appreciate it, buddy. I'm really looking forward to it. Final thoughts. We just got to keep believing, Rob. We just listen. We're there on merit, regardless of what people think, regardless of what people have been saying. We're there on merit. You know, I saw some Facebook stuff from a couple of spuds over the weekend, and you know, once Christmas is over, we'll come down with the decorations. You know, all these fucking comedians. But that being said, just keep believing, guys, because I tell you what, regardless of what happens, we've already lost 4 games this season. Listen, I'm not saying we're going to challenge for the title, because you probably only lose 2 and be able to, compete. Happy there's a pizza place not far either. Just keep believing. It might just be one of the offshoots of, some random pizza place. I think it's down the road. I think they drove past it last night. They were just closing up.
Well, there's bound to be a Pizza Hut or a Domino's or something somewhere around, isn't there?
But yeah, keep believing, keep enjoying it. That's what we've got to do, is also enjoy what follows.
Yeah.
Listen, it's not always going to be, win after win after win. For the simple fact is, we're not City, we're not Liverpool. We don't have the financial clout of these clubs to be able to go out and go, right, I want £150 million worth of players from our bench. And we can get that. We've got to make do with what we've got. Yes, we're in a bit of a bind, a bit of a pickle with regards to our defensive situation injuries. But let's get behind the players we've got. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought Diop was immense yesterday. And I was slightly concerned that he's going to be there. But you know what? He showed me that he's got it all in his locker yesterday. I think he ended up, according to Gonzo, our highest completed passing accuracy or something yesterday was Issa Diop.
I think he was on 94 something %.
I believe. I'll tell you. So let's get behind the boys that are there. You know, if any of the kids come through, we say kids, they're fucking 20, 21, some of them, they're not kids anymore. But if we can get behind them and just keep playing, Rob, I just want everyone to still believe, because you've not had a lot to believe in over the last number of years. So let's believe. Let's believe it. If you believe it and make your wishes, they come true. So I've been told.
Well, it's like I say, and I keep quoting it. It's the old thing that Henry Ford said: "If you believe you can, if you believe you can't, either way, you are right." And that's, like I say, I really do believe in that saying. Seriously.
Yep.
Anyway, something else that you can believe in. You can believe in that this is a campaign that we at Falls from Iron, and I would like to suggest the wider West Ham fan YouTube community, are full square behind. Isla Caton, 7 years of age, battling neuroblastoma. She can't get the treatment in this country. She's been battling this for the last couple of years, and her family need help in whichever aspect they wish to utilize the funds. It's entirely their call. Please put this onto your social media platform. You can copy and paste it. It's in the description below YouTube and Facebook. Put it onto your social media platforms. Get the message out there that there's a young girl that's out there in a race against time. And like I say, she's had a really, well, look, she's a kid and she's had a crap couple of years of it. She shouldn't be battling this. She is. That's the hand she's been dealt. But let's try and come together. Let's try and make her life and her family's life a little bit more bearable. Let's try and do what we can to help. Season of Goodwill's approaching. If you're in a position to put any money in the coffers, you've got a Just Giving link there. No donation is too small. Give generously. Guys, as always, we thank you very much indeed for listening and contributing should you choose to do so. And please don't forget to like, comment on and share the stream, subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for alerts on new content. And as always, we thank you very much indeed for your support. There you go.
Just in case those haven't seen it, including you, Rob, just quickly, I've just been brought to my attention via a WhatsApp message. The alternative commentary for yesterday's game is now available on clips on Twitter. In there before that gets taken down. I'm going to have a little watch of that in a minute once we come off of here. The Congolese Carlos, I believe, is one comment that I've just seen. So I'm looking forward to seeing that.
The Congolese Carlos.
So I'm going to enjoy that one.
Oh, mate, that is brilliant. What's your final words, Duke?
We continue to be fucking massive.
Absolutely. And I'm just going to do my usual. Come on, you Irons.